Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, where we're all about empowering women to live a financially free and balanced life on your own terms. And whatever that looks like, right, Andresa?
Yeah, even through tough times or whatever you want to call those moments where you want to just stop and run and give up and sell coconuts at the beach instead of investing in real estate.
Ooh,
but we're here to encourage you. That's my end goal. If nothing happens, that's where you can find me later on. But we're moving through this. What are we talking about here? We're not going to bring good news. It's just like bad news and like situation.
Here's what we're going to talk about. So we all know that in any business, in any endeavor, hard things happen, right? So number one, we need to establish that these things happen, and people just don't talk about it on social media. They talk about what they've closed, how much money they're making, how they're living a financially free life, and how they're amazing, and how they want to teach others to do the same, and really there's nothing wrong with that. However, sharing the tough times and sharing how to move through tough times with power is really incredibly important. So you stay in the game, not that you just stay in the game and you achieve your goals, but you do it in a way that serves you in your life, because you can go through the same experience with two different attitudes. And we all know that, but it's different knowing it and doing it. We all know what to do to lose weight, but it's in the doing is where the magic happens. So I'm going to give you some tips and strategies and just some awarenesses on how to move through hard things. And hard things to mean your contractor has walked out on you, happened to us, or it could be something, more severe, right? A lawsuit, people suing you, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those experiences are the women that are our Strive members, right? are experiencing, because once you start scaling, bigger things happen. So let's go through some recommendations, and I want to hear from Andresa with what her thoughts are too. In hard things, first and foremost, I think labeling things is something that we need to be conscious of. I don't know about you, but I don't really want to go through a hard thing. I'd rather go through something happy and peaceful and lovely. That just sounds nicer to me, but that's just not how it works. However,
that's Liz, people. Yep. That's Liz.
But however, how we call something and how we reference something creates energy. So if you're going to call it a hard thing and every day you wake up, I got to deal with that hard thing. I don't know if I would label it that way. I mean, call it what it is. I'm not saying it's roses and sunshine, but certainly setting yourself up with how we talk about something and how we talk about the situation really helps. So that's just off the bat.
I will add something that, because you and I had a conversation this week about this, right? And as you move through real estate, as you grow your business, you're going to have different types of problems or challenges that you're going to face. And one of the most recent ones that you and I are facing with our team, I call it out. I felt robbed. I felt robbed from my time, for my money, all of that. And that's how I felt, right? And then you and I had a conversation, and you encouraged me to reframe that in a different way, right? And Andresa was like freaking pissed off. You guys know me. It's like pissed off. But then I like, okay, let's take a deep breath, right? And take myself out of the situation and look at that. And then we agreed to reframe that as an investment. We invested time and money to learn the lessons that we got. And we got a ton of lessons, people.
Yeah.
That's for another episode. But that's what the reframing. And then I felt that energy, it was no longer draining me. It was like, okay, made peace with it. And I think that that's the goal when you are looking at any situation.
Yeah, great example. So the other key there is to not ignore it and to embrace it. I'd also say one more thing is not to attach your worth to it. So many times, right? All the women we talk to, all the women we engage with, when things happen, we make it about us. We did something wrong. Now, we may have made some mistakes. I'm not saying you don't want to own your stuff, because that's a whole other episode and a whole other workshop. You got to own your stuff. You got to take responsibility completely. However, when tough situations are happening, attaching your worth to it isn't going to set you up for success. And Andresa, you said it beautifully on one of our Strive masterminds. You said, someone was talking about how their property was getting appraised and how the property worth came down lower than they had anticipated. And you kind of said, and discovering it with that member, that she was attaching her worth. It was almost like she was getting appraised. So when bad things happen, we need to stop ourselves and be really mindful that we're not attaching our worth to it. I gotta tell you a dirty little secret. If you are an investor, if you are in business, you are an entrepreneur, all of these things happen. They all happen. So that's the second thing I wanted to share, is to congratulate yourself. We were on a mastermind and a woman's going through some tough things. And that was I got that kind of tough cold water in my face one time from one of my mentors, my brother-in-law, Tony. And he said, congratulations. Because once these things happen, it strengthens us and we know how to move through those things. And that's almost like, street cred. It's almost like, yeah, been sued. I've been, contractor stole from me. It's almost not that I want these things to happen to anyone. And you got to get the lesson, which is the next part. But going through it is almost like a rite of passage, quite honestly. And it's almost like you're going to learn the muscles, just like you're riding the bike, you fall down. How do you ride a bike and not fall down? It's going to happen. You're not going to be able to ride a bike and not fall down. It's the same thing with expanding your portfolio, creating financial freedom, taking your family to a different level than maybe previous generations. It's going to happen. These things will happen. And so you want to minimize them. However, just embracing it and kind of, in a sense, congratulating yourself is really, really important. Do you want to share something, Andresa?
Yeah, I think that there is a sequence, right? So when you are scaling your real estate business, you're going to have different types of problems, and that will require you to level up your leadership skill big time, because you won't be able to use the same tools that you had before. So as Liz said, the awareness and embracing it is the first step. And then you reframe it so you can live in peace. You take responsibility for it, for your portion of it, and hold people accountable for it. It's very important to do like a debrief of the root cause of the issue, so the entire team is aware of it, and we can move forward with a correct plan in place where everybody is enrolled. But one thing that I would say is that I don't want you to ignore your gut feeling. We bring a lot to the table, and this is one of the things that are not rational, can't explain, but I want you to make sure you're checking that before you make any decision.
Love that. And the last two suggestions is, this situation, again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the situation will happen again if you don't get the lesson. And the lesson, we can't tell you what the lesson is. You have to kind of get to some clarity around that. That's why surrounding yourself with like-minded women, people, a tribe, people that have your back is so critical. And you have to get the lesson. And the lesson isn't about making yourself wrong, right? We don't want you to attach your worth, but you certainly need to get the lesson. And typically the lesson does have to do with us. Something we did, some way of being that didn't serve us. Again, not to make yourself wrong, but not to repeat it. Because if you don't get clear on the lesson, it will come again to you. It'll look differently. It's like, it'll look differently. It'll show up in a different way, but it's almost like the hammer on the head. We all get like the lesson. It's like, I've seen this before. Yeah, it's because you haven't gotten the lesson. And that hard thing will happen again in a different circumstance if you don't really get the lesson.
I usually like when those things happen, I say it out loud. I got the lesson, universe. No need to continue saying with that. I got it. Just in case, if you didn't get the universe to get my email or in communication, I say it out loud. Listen, ladies, I hope this was a quick but valuable minisode for you. And again, share with us your struggles and challenges on the Facebook community. Don't try to do it by yourself. We're there to support you. Lean in. And that's going to allow you to create more freedom for you, but also allow other people to lean in as well and support you, and you support them, and vice versa. So please share what's coming out. Don't stay inside your own head. Okay, we're here for you. Ciao. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.